The biggest wave of protest rallies in years is due to start shortly in Israel. Demonstrators will take to the streets in 7 cities across the country, and activists hope the rally in Tel Aviv alone will attract 500,000 people. Thousands have been camping out across the country for about a week now, calling for social justice and for Prime Minister Netanyahu to go. RT's Paula Slier is in Tel Aviv for us. Let's catch up with her now. Paula, very good evening to you. The organisers are hoping, aren't they, for a massive turnout? Are people pouring in then?
Well, this is the end point of where tonight, Saturday's massive protest will take place. And as you say, the police have been on the streets already for hours. They've been cordoning off the main roads. They've shoved us aside several times in anticipation that several thousand people will take to 7 cities of Israel. Here in Tel Aviv alone, they expect as many as 100,000 people. Now, this is the 16th day of this demonstration. It started rather innocently with a Tel Aviv resident complaining that her landlady had upped her rent, and she pitched a tent in a main street here in Tel Aviv known as Rothschild Boulevard. Now, on that street now, you see dozens, hundreds of tents. There is, in fact, many signs that say Rothschild Corner of Tahrir, a throwback to what we saw happening in Egypt during the Arab Spring. But what is interesting is that this demonstration started with calls for cuts to be made in housing, in education, in medicine. We've seen for already 4 months doctors at public hospitals protesting about their long working hours and their low pay. But it has very quickly taken on a strong political flavor, and we're now hearing increasingly calls for the Israeli Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu to step down. We are hearing calls for regime change, and certainly the protest is mobilizing the entire Israeli society.
Paul, interesting point you touched on just now. I mean, some are comparing the events in Israel with the Arab Spring in Egypt. Indeed, you were in Cairo during that uprising there. We all remember it well. Can you see any similarities at this early stage?
There certainly are similarities. Firstly, you hear the chants that are coming off the streets. People have been chanting revolution. People have been chanting the people demand social justice. And walking around earlier, many people are holding up placards saying Bibi, referring to the Israeli Prime Minister, Bibi Netanyahu, go home. So there certainly is this clear call for a regime change. At the same time, this demonstration has been mobilized online, particularly with Facebook. And that is what we witnessed in Egypt and in other countries that participated in the Arab Spring. So thousands of people have been mobilized through Facebook, through Twitter, through other social media. Now, the Israeli Prime Minister was taken by surprise. This is the largest demonstration in his 2.5 years of office, and certainly his ratings have never been this low. A poll that was issued this week estimated that his ratings have dropped 19% in just 2 weeks, and he cancelled a trip abroad, and he is increasingly having to look at options in terms of how to deal with the demands by people on the street. It's interesting also to notice that the Arab community here in Israel has also come on board. There are protests in 3 Arab cities, among them Nazareth as well as Jaffa. It is interestingly a unifying factor, because one of the protest tents I walked past earlier had a banner outside that said, for Jews they don't build, for Arabs they demolish. But just last night there was a tent here in Tel Aviv with a Palestinian flag flying above, and that was torn down by right-wingers. So while it has the potential to unite, it also has the potential to ignite a lot of emotion. So it will be interesting to see what happens tonight. As you mentioned earlier, the largest demonstration that Israel has seen in years.
Yeah, closely following events over the next few hours, and with your help, Paula Slier, thanks for bringing us up to date from Tel Aviv with what you know there so far. Well, indeed, the government could resort to some provocative measures to try and disperse the crowds, is the worry of Yaniv Moyle. He's an activist and lawyer. He's in Tel Aviv as well.
The government sending people here to make provocation in order to find a reason to take this demonstration to a violent situation, to give him a cause to clear this whole thing out. We're not going to let them do that. The protest will continue, that's for sure. It took 60 years for people to actually get out of the couch and come and demonstrate for social issues. We haven't done it before. Now what we have here, it's in history. This date will be remembered in history because Israelis used to be apathic to the situation. If the government won't listen to the sound of the people, the government will fall. That's basically it. We can take the government and send them home.